Welcome to the AI for Career Success video overview by Curt Robbins. We're experts at AI coaching and helping professionals like you and your employees upskill in AI. In this analysis, we're going to break down a major strategic win in the aerospace industry, Rocket Lab's recent and really quite remarkable victory.
Our analysis today is drawn from the YouTube channel Alpha Tech, and specifically their video titled, "What Rocket Lab Just Did Totally Humiliated Blue Origin, Even SpaceX." All right, let's get right into the core of the story. The big news here is a major military contract, but the real surprise? It wasn't won by one of the usual giants. Instead, it went to the smaller, more agile Rocket Lab, a move that's really positioned them against the industry's established leaders.
So just how significant is this contract? We're talking about $190 million. This is for 20 hypersonic test flights, and a figure like that is truly a landmark for the company. It really underscores the confidence that the U.S. Department of Defense has in their capabilities.
And this is about much more than just a single win. This contract has actually propelled Rocket Lab's total backlog, that's their portfolio of secured future work, past the $2 billion milestone. It's a very clear indicator that the company is entering a new phase of substantial and sustained growth.
So this just has to make you wonder, right? You have titans like SpaceX with their proven Falcon 9 rocket in the field. So why did this critical defense contract go to the relatively smaller Rocket Lab? Well, the answer reveals a really fascinating strategic dynamic.
You see, the rationale here isn't about launching massive satellites into orbit. It's all about addressing a very specific and urgent need within the U.S. Department of Defense, and that need is all about accelerating the development of hypersonic technology.
The military essentially had a bottleneck. Their program, MATCH-TB 2.0, was created because the government's own testing infrastructure is just too slow and inflexible. To get the high number of test flights they need, they required a commercial partner who could provide rapid, frequent, and responsive launch services.
And this brings us to Rocket Lab's solution. See, they didn't just have a rocket. They had precisely the right vehicle, one that was specifically tailored to the military's unique requirements for this mission.
That vehicle is called Haste, which stands for Hypersonic Accelerator Suborbital Test Electron. At its core, it's a derivative of their workhorse Electron rocket, but it's been re-engineered for one primary purpose: to launch test payloads on a suborbital trajectory and push them into a true hypersonic flight environment.
Haste capabilities just align perfectly with what the Defense Department needs. It can carry a payload of around 700 kilograms, accelerated to speeds exceeding Mach 20, and crucially, it offers that high launch frequency the government requires. This isn't just theory either. Its readiness is underscored by a perfect track record, with over 7 successful flights already complete.
To really understand why Rocket Lab secured this win, we need to compare Haste directly against what its larger competitors could offer for this very specific task.
This table really clarifies the whole situation. For a suborbital hypersonic test mission, Haste is a perfect fit. SpaceX's Falcon 9, on the other hand, is an orbital-class vehicle, which makes it a fundamental mismatch. Its flight profile is actually too energetic and could damage the sensitive payloads, not to mention its cost-prohibitive overkill. And as for Blue Origin, their New Glenn rocket is simply still in development and not yet operational.
This source material used a powerful analogy to describe this. Using a massive orbital rocket like Falcon 9 for this job, it's like using a 40-ton truck to deliver a small box. It's just the wrong tool, inefficient, impractical, and excessively powerful for the task at hand.
This victory, then, isn't some isolated event. It is a direct result of Rocket Lab's calculated and methodical business strategy, which is to first dominate a specific market niche and then systematically expand from that position of strength. So their approach is really two-pronged. With the Electron rocket and its Haste variant, they've successfully come to dominate the small launch and suborbital testing market. Concurrently, they are developing Neutron, a larger, reusable rocket designed to compete directly with Falcon 9 in the medium launch market, and they're aiming for a lower price point.
So, how did Rocket Lab achieve this? To understand that, we have to look back at its origins, because as it turns out, the company's greatest competitive advantage was actually forged in the crucible of its challenging and underfunded early days.
When founder Peter Beck first sought funding in Silicon Valley, he was asking for only $5 million, and he was widely rejected. This initial lack of capital forced the company to innovate not just in its technology, but in its entire process. They had absolutely no choice but to be ruthlessly efficient, and that trait now defines their operations and enables their impressive growth.
And this is the primary takeaway from our analysis today. That culture of extreme efficiency, which was born out of a necessity for survival in its early days, has now matured into Rocket Lab's most potent strategic weapon. It's what allows them to outmaneuver larger, more established players in these specialized markets.
This, of course, leads us to the final, provocative question. Rocket Lab has proven it can dominate a niche with its efficient model. But the challenge now is whether that same culture of efficiency can be scaled up with the Neutron rocket to effectively compete against the established giants in the much larger medium-lift market. That remains to be seen.
Thank you for watching. This is where we teach you AI and help you get smarter than your competition. If you like these videos, use the QR code at the beginning of this video to buy us a coffee or hire us to coach you or your employees in AI. We also invite you to subscribe to the AI for Career Success YouTube channel. Please like, comment, and share to help us reach a wider audience.